I would like to begin with a few verses from the Yajurveda. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. I could hear a few murmuring. These are verses from the Yajurveda. So I will speak on where I come from, the land I come from, the civilization I belong to, and hence I am what I am. These verses, in many ways, capture the larger Bharatiya or Indian ethos, a civilization that has a recorded history of over 10,000 years. It's about the preceptor and the disciple sitting together, not one above and one below, but sitting together. Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunatu. We together shall receive knowledge, share knowledge, shall strive to achieve knowledge, and knowledge that makes us tejasvi, brilliant, enlightened, bright as the sun, and knowledge that will not cause any hostility or hatred towards one another, and knowledge that will bring peace on earth. So this is where we come from. This is where all of us come from. So this knowledge is meant for all. There are no narrow domestic divisions that keep one away from the knowledge and take one closer to knowledge. So this is where we come from. I don't know how many young people are aware of what a great person Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was. He was a great scientist, everyone knows. He was the president of India some years ago. He was Bharat Ratna. And he goes to the EU and quotes this one single phrase from a great poet called Pungundanar, who lived about 2,500 years ago. It goes like this: Yadumure Yavarum Kelir. And Abdul Kalam said this in front of EU because this is meant for the world. Yadumure Yavarum Kelir means I belong to where I am. I could be in America, I could be in Australia. I belong to where I am. And all those here are my own. So you can imagine, at a time when there were perhaps no flights and no way of connecting people, and obviously no AI and digital revolution and all of that, the world was believed to be one small unit, of which all of us are part. So that's the ethos I come from. So when I come to myself, my journey has been rather, it's not been linear at all. I started out as an actress, I studied law, and then I became a politician. So my narration also will be a little non-linear, bear with me for that. When in 2013, my first brush off with politics, if I may say that, was in 1999, by when I was famous as an actress, and I went to campaign for a great person called Sushma Swaraj, who's no more with us. He was one of India's greatest statesmen that we've seen. So this was my first brush off with politics, and I went and worked for Sushma ji. Much later, I decided to formally join politics in 2013. And an actor in Tamil, his name is Radha Ravi. I think I can quote him. He won't mind it. Radha Ravi said to me, he said this in Tamil. I'm going to say it in Tamil and then translate it in English for you. He said, Adu uppu thanni, unnala neeja mudiyadu, he said. It means that's salt water, you can't swim there. And I immediately struck back and I said, why? Cinema is also uppu thanni. I swam here. If I can swim here, I'll go swim there also, I said. And he smiled at me. But all I can say is that it's choppy waters, both in cinema and in acting, which is what I meant when I replied to him. It's choppy waters everywhere. It's salt water, very difficult to swim. And most of the time you're swimming upstream. But the one large similarity I saw between the two, acting and politics, is it's very strange. Maybe I identified it because I stride in both. The success you achieve is never proportionate to either your looks, this is for cinema, your looks, your hard work, or your talent. Sometimes somebody less, I don't know whether to call it good looking or photogenic than you, or less hardworking than you, or less talented than you might make it much before you and might become a superstar. Someone more talented, more hardworking, and better looking may not make it at all. I've seen that in cinema in all these years because I started as a child at 8. And so also in politics. There is that X factor always. It's never proportionate to your hard work and talent. Plus, there is nothing that decides, at least in our film industry, what makes you an actor. What is it what is that particular qualification that you require? Do you need an MBA? Do you need an IIT degree? Do you need an acting certificate? So what is it that makes you an actor? Or what is the qualification that you require for an actor? None at all. So also in politics, do you have to be a lawyer to be a politician? Not really. It's not like a deciding factor. So these similarities I saw in both. And for me personally, both the journeys were from scratch to where I've come. I don't know how far I've traveled, but the journey has been from scratch because I neither belong to a film family nor do I belong to a political family. So the head start that the person from or the actor from a film family gets, that kickstart that they get, that launch that they get was never available to me. So also in politics. I won't say that that is indeed the mantra for success. It's not necessary that you belong to a film family and hence you're successful. That's not so. But I didn't have it. That much I can say. Therefore, what was it? I think it was just sheer passion for work. And I worked with a very great director called K. Balachandar. He launched me in Tamil. He's made over 100 films. He's a legend. He had this very close associate who would tell us, he'd say, make love to the camera. An actor will understand what that means. So this is what it is, that you're passionate about what you do. You're not chasing money, you're not chasing fame, but you're chasing that dream. So when you chase that dream, the others follow. This has been my learning in both of these professions. If we speak of inclusiveness, I have spoken of the ethos I come from, which believes that the world is one single unit. Therefore, I have imbibed all of those values. But who is it that I represent? And it's very, very strange between the two professions, acting and politics. While I'm acting, I drop my ego first thing in the morning. I drop my body even, because one day I'm a terrorist from Sri Lanka, another day I'm a policeman chasing some thief, the third day I'm a lawyer, the fourth day I'm a doctor. On some day, I am doing plain slapstick, silly slapstick. And none of that is me. Am I representing myself in any of those characters? I'm not. Or KGF, I play a journalist. I have nothing to do with journalism. So what is it that I do? I simply dissolve myself into that person for that day and submit myself to the director. To us, he's the puppeteer. He's the master. He's the preceptor. He is the guy that decides what each person should do and look like and behave like. Because I've worked with, from Balachandar to Girish Kasaravalli, each one has their own style. Some teach you how to act. Some don't tell you anything. Like Girish will say, Madi, neevu madi, aden martiro madi. And then you do something and then you feel you're looking like a joker. Then he'll say, it's okay, but do this. So all of your learning, your abilities is all put aside, and then you become that one person because you are representing that person for somebody else. And then in politics, so there I forget who I am. At best I will remember that I am a female actor, but when I come to politics, it's all about identity. Which caste, which region, what language, man or woman, and what is your field of expertise, therefore what is it that you can speak about. So it's all about identity. So here is a life where the identity is dissolved, and then there is a life where it's all about identity. If that is the way it should be, I do not know, but that's the way it is. I'd like politics to be different, but it's not so yet. At least the politics that I have seen in these 10 years has not been so yet. So here I am. One is all about identity. The other is about losing your identity. I think as long as you attach too much importance to yourself and take yourself too seriously, you're always at a risk of getting disappointed. If you let go and allow yourself to be and go with the flow, then perhaps life is far easier. I am also reminded of DVG. This is in Kannada, I'll translate it for you. It's Mankutimana Kagga. ಹುಲ್ಲಾಗು ಬೆಟ್ಟದಡಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಆಗು ಕಲ್ಲಾಗು ಕಷ್ಟಗಳ ಮಳೆ ಬಿರಿಸುರಿಯೇ ವಿಧಿ ಸುರಿಯೇ ಕಲ್ಲು ಸಕ್ಕರೆಯಾಗು ದೀನ ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳಗೊಂದಾಗೋ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ he says. Become one among all. How do you become one among all? Whenever you are required, you put your identity forth. When you are not required to, you try and merge with the rest. Because that's the larger intent. That's the larger idea. Because everything is part of one single cosmos, one single cosmic energy. That's the intent. About going beyond boundaries, he started with KGF, so I am going to end with KGF. To us, we are the underdog. I don't know how many here are familiar with cinema or what we do in cinema in South India. We are the underdog. Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, I think, and Oriya, Bengali. We are the underdogs. Who are the elder brothers here? Who are the big guys? In South India, it's Tamil and Telugu. If you take Pan India, it's obviously Hindi. Hindi cinema is the big boss, right? So we are the underdogs. So when we started doing in KGF in 2018, when Prashant called me and said we are doing this film and all that, who knew where we were going? But there was that conviction that we were going to make something interesting, make something that the world watches. But I'll tell you experiences that I've had. I was shooting for a Tamil film and I was playing a defense minister. And we had to shoot in Singapore because it was a Tamil film, but we shot in Dubai. I made the speech on the podium in the shooting, all right. So I made the speech and I got down and came and sat in the van. It was a blistering heat. And a few guys came running. The people who made up the audience there were not Tamil people, because I told you there was a lot of restrictions and all of that. The junior artists were all people living in Dubai. So they all came rushing towards the van, and I was wondering why they came. And they said, KGF, we want a picture with you. See, you're in Dubai. So this is a big thing for us in Kannada. You see, it may not be a big thing for Hindi film actors, because I recall wherever you go in the world, when you say India, they say Amitabh Bachchan, and they say Shah Rukh Khan. But for us, it's a big thing. And that is going beyond boundaries, I think, for us. To me, that is transgressing. The boundaries, social boundaries, regional boundaries, language boundaries, all of that, right? So these were wonderful experiences that I have had, that the possibilities are infinite. I'll give you one or two more experiences that I've had. I went for a funeral a few months ago, and I was standing outside. I just came to take some fresh air. And a few women were going past the house. Some of them stopped and came towards me. One lady came closer. She said this, which left her it stirred me up. She said this in Kannada. I'll say it in Kannada and then in English. She said, Nanu sayak munche ninnu nodbeku ankondidde, nodbitte. She must be in her 50s, not likely to leave. She said, and I quote, she said, I wanted to see you before I die, and I have seen you. And I was indeed stirred, because isn't this what you intend to achieve when you start out as an actor? Because Krishna says, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. Savyasachi is Arjuna. He says, you are just a tool in the hands of God. It's for you to just perform. It's for you to just do your duties. It's not for you to think of what's going to come of it, what the consequences will be. When you're acting, you're acting. When you're serving people as a politician, you're serving. And I draw a leaf. I heard the previous speaker make a mention of the Prime Minister. I draw a leaf from his life. Here is a man who heads this country, who chooses to light fire to his mother's funeral pyre in the morning and goes back to work in the afternoon. Isn't that the man we need to learn from? To detach. Like I said, to not take ourselves too seriously, to detach from what we are doing, to be like those little droplets of water on a lotus leaf. So I do hope that I've made that little difference to your thought process. Thank you very much.